Welcome back to a new video. Today, we're installing this bad boy. This is an HK off-road hidden winch bumper, and it's gonna be going right inside of this factory bumper. That way we can keep a nice clean look. And we've got a winch to go on there as well. So let's go ahead, get everything opened up, and I'm gonna throw some paint on this. We'll get the winch all separated, and let's get on it. Okay, so this is the HK off-road hidden winch bumper. They do make full bumpers as well. Bash over at HK, he's awesome. You can tell the packaging is perfect. They have it all safetied up. It was also in a box with a bunch of stuffing, and I don't see any problems with any of the corners, although it is steel. You're not gonna be too worried about that. Let's go ahead and get into here. He's got this thing sealed up really good. Should have grabbed something sharper, but this is all I could find. But we'll get to it here in a second. This guy all unwrapped. All right, so here's our winch bumper. The welds look amazing, of course. What else could you expect from this company? And it's definitely on the heavier side. I believe this is 3/16, or at least it looks like it. I don't remember the exact specs, but I think 3/16, and then the shackle tabs are like an inch. I mean, super thick. It takes a little bit of modification on the stock bumper to get it in there. You've got to cut out a piece of the bumper in the middle so you can fit this in and fit the winch. So let's move on over to the winch. I'm not quite sure what these are for. We'll have to look at the install instructions to figure that out. There's some bolts in here too. And then we've got the winch. Just ordered this guy on Amazon. Had really good reviews. And Rugcel, Rugcel. It's a 13,500 pound winch. It comes with wireless remote, I believe. You've got the front part. It's going to mount on the stock bumper, so this is going to be the only thing sticking out. And we got a hook. We got some leads, some bolts, and then a bunch of stuff. So let me get this. Here we go. So we've got this cover. We have two wireless remotes right here, battery cables, as well as the guy that programs or runs the winch, and then you also have a plug-in controller just in case your wireless ones aren't working. And here is the big boy winch, 13,500 capacity. It has synthetic line. There we are. So synthetic line and basic winch. So this is the winch we're going to be installing onto the HK hidden winch bumper, but we will be doing that after we get the bumper installed. So we're going to go ahead and try to take the bumper outside somewhere, and get some paint on it. It is just the steel, the raw steel, so we want to throw something on there before we install it. My hope is that the paint will semi-dry while we're working on getting the area prepped for it to go on. And we can also deal with the winch in that time while we're waiting for it to dry. So let's move on. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is get this bumper off. Now, I've already have my fender liners off because when we did the cutting, we never put them back in. But we do have these clips down here. We're gonna pull out. And these are gonna get replaced with screws, so we don't need them, and we can break them, which is the good news. All right, now that we got the bottom free, the next step will be to remove the grill. So I've got the 7mm right here, and we're just gonna take all these out. There are plastic clips down here, and I just don't feel like breaking my grill, so I can't put it on. So we're just gonna go ahead and take the headlights off. The whole goal is to get this whole grill insert out, as well as behind the grill, the supporting bracket. So we're gonna go ahead, pull these headlights out, try to pull it all out together. That way we don't have to worry about breaking any plastic clips. I'm really not a fan of plastic clips. I'd rather have these little bolts, although I believe this is the long one for the headlight. Yep, so we will go ahead and pull this guy out. There we go. Twist your bulbs and they'll pop out. And then for your high beams and low beams, you're going to disconnect like that. And over here, I get a screwdriver, pop this little tab up and push off. There we go. And we're disconnected. So now we can see my bumper is a little janky. Running with the 35s on here, it does rub quite a bit even with it trimmed. So my tabs are all kind of beat up. Bumper's pretty beat up. But we've got that all set up. We'll do the same on the other side. And then we should be able to pull this whole thing off. It looks like the grill's gonna come off with the bumper, possibly as well. So same thing on this side, 7mm on the headlights. Set that right here, and you just pop it out. It's a good thing we're doing this because we got flooded with mud. If you haven't seen that video, make sure to go check it out because I sunk this thing. And there's mud everywhere. I've got to figure out a solution for fender liners. I think I'm gonna build some aluminum ones because it literally is just pushing it all up in here. My power steering box, my new redhead steering box is completely covered. There we go. Disconnected, and you can see all the mud. Before we take this whole thing off, we want to make sure we disconnect the fog lights if you do have those, because it will rip them out. So then, just pop this guy right off. And there we go. So, set this kind of down on the side. So next up, we're gonna get rid of this guy. So we got these Torx, all these Torx screws that we're going to remove so we can pull this whole plastic cover off. It's a Torx 30 that we're gonna use for all of these. So go ahead and just unscrew these. I should probably get a drill. We'll see how long they are. There we go. Got mud everywhere. And then we can feed these lights through. Next step is the cutting step. So we're gonna go ahead and cut right here. We're gonna cut right here, get this whole piece out of here. I've already taken this hood latch support off. So this is just gonna drop out. So we're gonna make our cuts right here. You can already see that I gave it a little start. And also right here. So we'll be cutting that all around, dropping that out. So the next step will be to grind down these edges all around here on both sides. Now that we have the center part cut out, we grinded down this flat on both sides. I'm gonna throw some paint on this since we did grind off the paint, but we'll wait until kind of closer to the end. But next we're gonna take these tabs that HK Off-Road supplies, slide these in, and you'll line up the bolts. So we got one here, I've already put the one on this side, and we're going to mount the bumper now using those 2 points. Get it nice and tight, and then we'll be able to drill our holes on both sides for the additional bolts. Next up, we're gonna remove these latch supports right here, a 13 millimeter, and install the new latch supports. Take that off. All right, slide these off. And grab these. You're gonna want to get the one with the bigger hole for this top part. I'm just trying to line up where the washers were before, get it as close as possible. So with this mounted on here, we've got this mounted. We're gonna go ahead and drill out these 2 holes on the sides so that we can put supporting bolts through there. So I'm working on we're switched over to the phone real quick. I'm working on getting this lined up, and I've still got to cut a little bit more. My winch wasn't able to clock. We weren't able to clock the drive, so I went ahead and I'm gonna leave it upright, so it's right in there. And I cut out this little pocket. I still have the piece, so I can put it back if I want. But cut this out. I think this is gonna be the move. I can still engage it and lock it, and when you're back here, you won't even know once the hood and the lights are on and everything. I mean, compared to having a hole right here, even if it was able to clock, if it was one that we were able to clock, you're gonna have a hole right in here. And I've seen it before, and people kind of mess up the grill. I took kind of the smaller accent part, took that out, and it hides this. So I can really just reach in there, lock it. I might make it like where I can put it on and off somehow. But I think that looks a lot better than cutting it out of the grill or the bumper. So we're gonna work with that. I haven't wired it up yet, but it is mounted in there on the bumper. And I think I gotta come up a little bit higher. I'm gonna clean up all these cuts whenever I get finished, but just don't wanna cut too much. And these guys are kind of hiding down here. I might have cut a little bit too much off of that, but I think it's gonna work out. I think I gotta take a little bit more off on this corner, and then maybe right above the shackles. A lot of the pictures I saw didn't have shackles, so you do have to go up a little bit higher, it seems like, to get it to set right. Well, got it on. I think it looks really good. I did not pick the color of this fair lead. This is what they sent me with the winch. I'm thinking I'm gonna paint it the same color as this, or maybe do some black to accent up here with the shackles. Let me know what you think or what color you think I should paint it. And we did cut a little bit more than what I originally wanted to cut, but I believe there's 3 different bumper types that come on the WJs. I think Overland is one that a lot of people put these on, this grill or this bumper right here. And in my opinion, it looks a little cleaner on there. It's a little bit easier to cut out and follow the lines because you don't have this like secondary grill down here. So if you do have that style, it's gonna look really good. On here with the shackle tabs, you have this brace right here, so you do have to cut a little bit more than what I was thinking. I think I was originally gonna go straight across, but once I put the fair lead on here, I actually kind of like how it holds part of the bumper and part of the steel bumper. But I might go ahead and do straight across. I'm not sure. I'm pretty happy with how it looks now. And ended up getting this to tuck up under here nice and clean. Did put a 1 bolt right here, so bolt nut washer. And then on the sides, the main thing that I was having trouble with is I would put this on and I couldn't get the bumper to slide in. I had these plastic screw tabs where my bumper would slide on and off. And that alone wasn't holding it on both sides, with this, I think, being a little bit further out than normal. So I went ahead and finally replaced that with the bolt and nut, and now it's not gonna pop off at all, and I wouldn't have had to cut as much. But once again, I think it looks great. It blends in really well, but also, kind of looks a little bit different. And this is the only other thing that we cut in order to reach the engagement on the winch, which normally you would have a cut in the grill, like right here, and maybe a little bit of cut in the bumper from the other pictures that I've seen, the other people that have installed this. And after talking with Bash at HK, he did say that my winch, you kind of got to pull out the gears on the end. It's not quite as simple as the ones that have the engagement on the end cap. But it is still easily doable. So I don't think I'm gonna mess with it for now, because I do like that this is just a small opening and I can reach it perfectly fine there without having to cut into my main grill or bumper. Maybe when we build a bumper, because we're gonna build a bumper off of this at some point, we'll go back and give it a little clock, point it out. But for now, I think it looks good, and it's definitely a lot sturdier. I feel a lot better driving around with this. Don't have to worry about hopefully totaling the front of my car if someone were to hit me or something happened. So pretty excited about that for now, and I think it's turned out really well. I don't think there's a better option on the market for a clean look, and I would definitely recommend HK Off-Road. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.